the biggest challenge you're facing right now?
I'd say so. I'd say that just finding more time to study, working 40 hours a week has some of its drawbacks because you can only put so much quality time in to the point that you are either just doing yourself a disservice of studying. You could study more, but it's probably not going to be a good quality. Um, and I'm trying to space out my day even just to wake up a little bit earlier. But so far it's not it's not happening because I work from 8 to 5 and then I go straight to class right afterwards. So it's like I kind of want to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can certainly understand that. What about your weekends? What do those look like?
Oh, it's I jam pack those. This past weekend I actually had a group from our classes take LSAT 56 in a simulation of 35 minutes per section. We took the tests and then within normal time constraints, and then we came back later that day and we only got to thoroughly redo the logic game section because it took us 3 hours. We went through every single game and proved why the right answer was right and everything else was wrong. So it was really good review, and everyone learned something because we didn't move on until everyone could say, yeah, I get it.
That's the work. Yeah, I mean, review can be incredibly time consuming, but
Oh yeah, it
it's the
is.
most valuable thing you can do. So I'm not surprised to hear that it took a long time. I'm glad that it took a long time. And I'm glad that you had this group from the students in the course to be able to connect with each other outside of class and take in that direction if that's the direction that serves everyone. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were gonna try to do the other two sections yesterday, but I just couldn't do it. I had some plans, and so I wrote down all my reasonings in a Word doc, and hopefully it helped them for reference.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So on your weekends, how many hours are you typically studying?
I would say 6 to 8 per day. I try to give myself a day off because if I do 7 days a week, I'm positive I'm gonna crash and burn. Um, we had created a group me for LSAT takers who were going to take the test after April, and I remember saying that I'm treating this ration like how I was treating my races back in college, um, simulating the environment, but also you can't work out back to back to back. Your body's going to give out. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I see all those they're all the race paraphernalia behind you on the wall. That's something you
uh,
do a lot.
oh yeah, it was a big part of college and high school. I only wish that law schools let me run during school so they could pay for it.
Right, right. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of discipline, a tremendous amount of training. And you also know that, of course, you need time away. You need rest days as well. You can't do what kind of races would you typically run?
Long distance, so the patient ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're training for a half or full marathon, I mean, you can't
Yeah.
do several training runs of that
Mm-hmm.
length in the final month prior, right? You got to space them
Mm-hmm.
out and take days off in between.
Yep. Yep. Specifically the mile, and I treat it like the way you run a mile is you run it in four ways. The first with your head, the second with your legs, the third with your stamina, and the fourth with your heart. So just like you get out what you put in, basically. And it's the same premise as you in the LSAT. You get out what you put in. You put in the work. More often than not, you'll get something out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you're clearly willing to put in the work. You mean you have a full-time job, you're attending class in the evenings, and then you're doing the bulk of your studying on the weekend, but 6 to 8 hours in one day is still a lot.
So I try to sparse that out and give myself a break here and there. But I've figured out that I'm not going to get the bulk of my studying done during the weekend just because they're during the week work. So my only other option is weekends.
Well, there you go. That's great. I mean, 8 hours in one day of LSAT, I think, is probably too much for most people. I could imagine it being possible to make it work though, if you were to mix in a study group on that day so that you're getting a social element in there as well.
Yeah.
So what you did sounds fantastic. That sounds like a good way to change it up. So there could be a little bit of chit chat. There could be a little bit of connection. It's not just doing nothing but LSAT problems for 8 hours. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.